you're just waking up with us. We want to begin here with new changes needed at Detroit's historic Ford Piquette Avenue plant. The task of restoring the 121-year-old building is tough, especially with grant money drying up.
Yeah, for Ford, it's worth keeping up as it's the birthplace of the Model T. Priya is live talking about the renovations that are now in jeopardy. Priya.
Hey, good morning, Jason and Rhonda. Yeah, we're talking about two massive infrastructure projects. And to give you some context here, about 40,000 people are expected to visit the Piquette plant this year. Many of them are from out of state. Now, federal funding helps keep museums open, but with some of that money from Washington now in jeopardy, projects at the Piquette plant, for example, might not happen, and that could impact the future of a historical site here in Metro Detroit.
That's the original Detroit City inspection.
From 1926?
From 1926.
After nearly a century, the elevator at the Piquette plant needs to be replaced.
We were down for a month or two because we had to send the motor out to get remade. You can't just go buy those motors anymore, or a lot of the parts anymore.
Mark Carpenter is a mechanical engineer who worked at Ford for 27 years. Now retired, he's a busy volunteer, making sure the historic Piquette plant stays up and running.
These look new.
Yes, these are new. We put these in. We now have modern toilets. We've added, the handicap rails. We have the diaper changing.
While these upgrades are important, massive infrastructure work is needed. From century-old pipes to the elevator motor, repairs will top $500,000.
Infrastructure is not sexy. Toilets are not sexy, unfortunately. But, just like in your home, you need your bathrooms, you need your kitchen, and in our case, as a public facility, we need an elevator. They're just absolutely essential amenities.
The cheapest way to solve this problem is to put the elevators and restrooms back where they used to be. The restrooms are in the old elevator shaft because it was the easiest way to run the plumbing. What they want to do is put the bathrooms back in the original spot. And if you look at the ceiling there, those holes, that's where the toilets used to be.
I know this sounds crazy, but to install the restrooms alone is going to be at least $1 million.
Why?
Well, it involves digging up Beaubien Street. The sanitary lines back in 1904, they were not, sewer and sanitary were not separate.
These two infrastructure projects were slated for federal funding, but the flow of grant money from Washington is drying up.
Without the federal funding, at this point, the project's off the table. We just can't afford it.
Historic attractions like the Piquette plant are vital to Michigan's economy. Nearly 60% of visitors come from out of state, and more than 15% are international tourists.
If we have $500,000 in business annually, that is another $1 million that goes back into Michigan and Detroit because all of our visitors stay, eat, and shop locally.
But without infrastructure improvements, the Piquette plant won't be able to host functions or school trips, educating kids about why we're known as the Motor City.
It's really heartbreaking. If you love history and you love celebrating American history in the place where it was made, the Piquette plant is a perfect example of that.
Now, there is some good news here. The Piquette plant was just able to secure some grant money from the state. This just happened a few days ago. That money will go toward these infrastructure projects, but they still need to fundraise another $800,000 to make ends meet. And this is not a situation unique to the Piquette plant. This is a challenge that's facing museums all across the country. Reporting live this morning, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Well, something tells me the generosity of Metro Detroiters to preserve that history for years to come. Hopefully there'll be an outpouring of support for the Piquette plant. Priya, thank you.